And what ends up happening here is we want to make sure that we can get the best price to the best people at the right time.
The best people? Who would they be?
Sorry, let me rephrase. The right price.
Are those the people who, what? I mean, no, explain it to me. I'm interested. Who are the best people?
Well, that was the misstatement, sir. What we're trying to do is get the right price at the right time. And what that also means is making sure that if someone's on a flight that's now filling up, and we have a lot of, as we talked about, unbundled pricing,
and they get screwed. So like if you have the misfortune of having to book your flight at the end because maybe something's been canceled, then you're going to get screwed. I have to say I didn't understand your answers. I thought you said to the chairman earlier that you did say in your opening statement that there was a lot of misinformation about this out there, Mr. Schroeder, and I thought you said, Mr. Klein, that you don't charge bounties. So can we just clear this up once and for all? We're all here. We're all under oath. So, Mr. Schroeder, let's start with you. Do you charge a bounty? Do you pay employees bounties on carry-on bags to identify them?
Senator Josh Hawley goes head-to-head with airline executives in skyrocketing fees, shady practices, and outright harassment of passengers. If you have ever been hit with a random fee or had a gate agent make your life miserable, you're going to want to stick around as we unpack the nonsense these airline executives try to peddle.
It's a simple, that's a yes or no.
I wouldn't characterize it as a bounty.
Do you charge them, do you pay your employees a fee? Do you incentivize them to go pick out bags from people getting on planes and kick them off the flight? Just yes or no?
We charge them an incentive.
Okay, that's a yes. Mr. Klein.
We do not, Senator Hawley.
You don't pay your employees to do that?
We have previously, sir, but we actually suspended that on September 30th of this year. And now in order to be able to treat all of our guests fairly and equitably, we've actually just put more staff and supervisors out at the gate area. And they're the ones that are still making sure that everyone's treated fairly and equitably, which is the point behind these kinds of programs. But we have removed that program as of September 30th.
Oh, interesting. So let's come back to you, though, Mr. Schroeder. So how much have you paid your gate agents to enforce your carry-on bag policy, to pick people out of the line like the chairman's video showed? I mean, you guys do appreciate that flying on your airlines is a disaster, don't you? I'm slightly amazed by the general attitude of all of you here. Flying on your airlines is horrible. It's a terrible experience. I mean, I say this as a father of 3 young children, but I can't tell you, nobody enjoys flying on your airlines. It's a disaster. You charge people fees that they know nothing about.
It is like airlines took the DMV experience, strapped some wings on it, and called it customer service. Airlines are making flying feel like an Olympic sport where the goal is to avoid getting ripped off. And these executives, they sit there like, we had no idea people hated flying with us. Yeah, right. No idea whatsoever.
You harass them to death. I'll never forget, Mr. Johnson, during COVID, when an attendant on your airline threatened my wife because our then 5-year-old son, his mask had slipped. This is back when we all had to wear those ridiculous masks. His mask had slipped below his nose. This flight attendant came up to my wife and said, if she didn't keep that mask over his nose at all points on this 4-hour flight, she would personally see that my wife was banned from flying. This has happened over and over to families. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And your attitude here today seems to be, well, devil may care. There's nothing we can do about it. Well, I think we are going to do something about it. So how much have you paid people to pull out customers who are in line with a bag that's 2 centimeters too big, Mr. Schroeder?
Well, we recognize this is a hard job, and so therefore we incentivize them to do that.
How much?
It's $10 per bag.
Wow, $10 per bag. And I think, Mr. Klein, you and Mr. Schroeder, your airlines cumulatively have spent $26 million paying gate agents between 2022 and 2020 to catch passengers whose bags are a little bit too big. $26 million. I mean, if people want to know why it's such a terrible experience to fly, this is news for them today. Your airlines are paying millions of dollars to your employees to harass people who've already paid. They're there in line because they've already paid. It's unbelievable. By the way, let me just ask you this while I have you here. Why is it that you charge different people different fees for carry-on bags? Why is that, Mr. Klein? Why isn't it just a flat fee? Why is it that I might get charged one fee, but my wife might get charged a different fee? Why is that?
So overall, our job is to generate the most revenue we can so we can be profitable as an airline. If we're not profitable, actually we have costs, and there's costs out there, and we have to make sure that we're above the cost line in order to make sure that we can run a profitable entity.
Yeah, I got it. No, I got it. I got it. And money's the answer. So your last year, your carry-on bag fees range between $15 and $99.
Why isn't there just a flat fee? Oh wait, because they figured out how they can milk every passenger for maximum cash. Honestly, the dynamic pricing feels more like Russian roulette. Spin the wheel and maybe you'll get charged $15 or maybe $100. And don't even get me started on their excuse for profitability. If airlines need this many gimmicks to stay afloat, maybe they shouldn't be in business to begin with.
That's extraordinary. One person might pay 15, somebody else might pay 99. How do you determine it? Is it based on personal characteristics?
It's
You charge
never
women more?
It's never based on personal
You
characteristics.
have minors more?
We do not, sir.
What,
So-
just people who are suckers? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, there is a cost to carry any kind of bag.
Yeah, but
So-
why do
some
you
of it-
charge some people more? I understand the cost, and you make clear money's your bottom line. I get that, but why is it that you're charging some people what, triple, quadruple the amount?
Well, the length of the flight should matter in this as well. So
Yeah, but that's not the data. The data shows is we're talking about the same people on the same flight might get charged radically different prices for a one carry-on bag. You do the same thing for check bags. Why is that?
right. So just for the record, the $99 charge has been reduced to $79.
Oh, there. Is that what you're telling me?
Are you
You're
refer-
not one of the best
Are you
people.
referencing just fair?
I'm just
overall?
I'm just responding to your testimony. I'm listening to you, and you just said as a flight's filling up, you're going to get charged more.
Not always. Sometimes you'll get charged less.
Exactly. Sometimes, right? But you'll never know, right? That's the beauty of it. It's like Russian roulette. Flying on the airline is.
I would
you have
disagree,
no idea in the world.
I would disagree.
Wait, no, you just said it.
It's very
We'll
transparent.
have it.
sir.
Listen, there'll be a transcript
very
generated, and I'll send it to you with a bow on it. You can read your own testimony just now. You have no idea what the fee is going to be ever. Mr. Schroeder, what about you? Your airline charges, sometimes it's $0 for a bag checked. Sometimes it's $99 for a bag checked. On a first, sorry, that's carry-on. Excuse me, carry-on. For check bag, it could go from $0 to $138. Who knows what it's going to be? Why do you vary it so much? Is that fair to the consumer?
So it depends again on routes, and so there's just demand around that.
No, that's not true. We're talking about people on the same flights. Their prices may vary by huge astronomical percentages. Why is that?
Well, that happens on airfare as well, and
It does. I want to talk about that next.
I'll explain the model and how we think about things. So increasing ancillary historically has brought the fare down, and I brought up earlier that nearly 50% of people are not paying for a bag or a seat. We are providing options that people are deciding whether they want that or not. That is increasing the ability for
Yeah,
people
but
to travel
listen,
and
my
travel
time is limited, and I know the chairman, Senator House, want to ask more questions. I just want to point out to you that you are charging people for the same thing, one checked bag or one carry-on bag on the same flight. People are paying wildly different prices for it. They have no idea what it's going to be. I think people will be amazed to learn today that if they fly on your airline or yours, Mr. Klein, heck, the guy next to him may be paying $15 for the carry-on bag, and they may be paying $80. Last thing, Mr. Chairman, I know you're indulging me. I'll be really quick on this, but Mr. Schroeder, you just mentioned that you also use this so-called dynamic pricing for seats, for seat fees. Why do you make people enter in their age and their geographic location and their gender before they can even see the cost of a seat? Why is that?
That's been in place since 2014.
Yeah, but why? It's because you're using those personal characteristics to generate the fees,
No, absolutely.
to generate the prices. Well, then why else do you require it? Mr. Klein, you do the same thing. Well, why is the gender relevant to what the seat is?
This is all information that's needed in order to complete the transaction.
No, it's not. Delta doesn't do it. United doesn't do it. You don't need somebody's gender in order to do it. You use it clearly. You're using it to generate the prices, right?
We do not, sir.
It's not based on personal characteristics?
Not at all.
You don't use algorithms to set the price of seats?
That's a different question.
So you do use an algorithm, and you do make them enter all their personal
Well, what's your definition of algorithms, sir?
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Well, because algorithms are ways for people to be able to come up with calculations, which is a faster way. It's more efficient than a human being doing the same exact work. So I'm trying to answer your question, sir, in all sincerity, and I don't know how else to answer it.
Thanks, Senator Hawley.
Senator Hawley was not holding back, and honestly, I think every traveler watching this feels seen right now. These airline executives are out here justifying nonsense while we are stuck paying fee bingo every time we have a flight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more bold and unapologetic content.